Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Horde of Tales and Hot Pride, sponsored by Evil Hat Productions. I am your director and host for the evening, Krifu Bernal. My pronouns are he, him, and we're back for the third episode and penultimate episode of this season of Nights by Leylight, a Girl by Moonlight actual play. Unfortunately, Pan will be unable to join us this evening, but of course, the rest of the girls in the Moonlight and Nights in the Leylight, the rest of the gang is here, and they're going to introduce themselves to you now, starting with Ren.
Hi, I'm Ren. I'll be playing Dante Winter. Never said their last name. Dante Winter this evening. And they're feeling maybe a bit hopeful today.
Okay, awesome. Maybe a bit hopeful.
Maybe.
I guess that's more hope than we could hope for.
Hope feels dangerous.
Let's go over to Jacob.
Hi, my name's Jacob Wolf-Lefton, and I'm playing Isabel Dawn and Aurora Twilight, which is the Harmony character, so two characters in one. And they're both feeling somehow a little bit exposed and vulnerable.
Okay, makes sense. And going down to Michelle.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Kelly, my pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Tamara Iotu. I didn't even say her own name right, Ayuto. And she is feeling not good. She has been overcome with her feelings of inadequacy, that she is unable to transcend and be as strong as her friends, and she is desperate to find some way to prove herself.
Mechanically speaking, she's in Eclipse.
She has eclipsed.
Yes, we've had an exciting 2 episodes so far, ending with a dramatic reveal of information in the abandoned laboratory on Earth where this whole thing started hundreds of years ago. And tonight we return to our Moon Kingdom to see what effects, what fallout our knights are now dealing with. But before we get into that, we'll see you in just a moment. We see the interior of the castle, the center of this creche, and a ballroom filled with the nobility of our kingdom. I see shaking of heads already. Banners and sashes and capes and cloaks, all bearing the various sigils and symbols of the houses that make up our kingdom. At the top of these stairs that go up on one side of the ballroom, we can see the royal family, who we've yet to actually meet. Our players aren't even aware of who the monarchs are. We see King Zafri and Queen Smoradine. Two very regal looking people with a dark tan skin tone and dark brown hair. That for the king, his hair is done in sort of like a very stereotypical king wig that comes up in the curls on the side. And he is looking quite serious, although he is known to be or at the very least, propaganda says that he is a patient and understanding and wise king. Maybe parties just aren't his scene. And next to him, his queen, again, both very regal. She has like this long neck that's atop these shoulders, like they're like a pillar of marble, basically. And her hair is done up in various curls that kind of like create this sort of asymmetrical tower on her hair. Wearing like a beautiful tiara with jewels inlaid. She's looking very haughty, austere. I think we can see where the Duchess maybe like models some of her behavior after. But she's specifically looking down to the dance floor with some disdain in her eyes, because we see the Prince Falu, who is this quite androgynous looking figure, wearing a very tight like pantsuit. Maybe not pantsuit. Yeah, let's go pantsuit. Why not modernize that a little bit? In these sort of like auburn colors, maybe with like white pants that like you can see how little I know about fashion. That come around the ankles very tightly, leaving like just their ankles exposed in these high-heeled like dancing shoes. And they're wearing like a short blonde page boy bob that's been like filled with bows and ribbons as they're sort of just dancing and cavorting around the floor. People know that, and I'm using Princeton as a gender neutral title, but the Princeton does not take their role as the heir to the throne seriously at all. And many wonder what their coming to the throne would mean for the future of this creche. But of course, they are not alone at this party, for our knights are in attendance as well. Isabel, where are you at this party?
Standing in the corner, awkwardly with a drink in my hand.
What are you wearing?
Are
you wearing, I guess we should say.
I am wearing also a pantsuit to sort of mirror the fashion that's being set forward by the Princeton. That's sort of like catching all of the young people these days. But I've had a designer specifically work with me to include, it's a pantsuit, but it has kind of broad shoulders and like a skirt. It's like a tunic with pants under it, specifically to call back to the fashions that we think were on Earth back in the time, to signal my position and my status of holding the Twilight comb, and which is in my hair.
Interesting. So what is one thing that would mark your outfit as like earthly?
Yeah, so there was on Earth, and it hasn't been a fashion since people moved here, there was a fashion of shoulder pads, like broad shoulder pads, and then there's like roughly big shoulders so that you just fill up space. So I have this very trapezoidal shape to myself.
Okay.
And then with my hair done up, it's sort of like a trapezoid, like one of these 1980s silhouettes, like from Blade Runner or something.
Okay, cool. The camera pans around across the nobles, enjoying this party, eating very noble food. We see through a window that it is indeed nighttime outside, that the shield that protects the creche and maintains its atmosphere is functioning as desired once more. Dante, where are you at this party, and who are you wearing?
Dante is currently dancing, having their dance card aggressively filled throughout the night, and having a staunch inability to say no for some reason. Dante is wearing... It is sort of like a suit, but the jacket of it comes down very far beyond the knees and flares out a bit. The sleeves also aren't clinging tight. It's a bit loose on their upper frame, and it comes in just at a point beneath their navel. Beneath that jacket is a fairly... I don't want to say translucent, but that's the word that's coming to mind. But yeah, just a fairly sheer. That's the one. Just a fairly sheer underblouse. It's kind of very soft beneath, and then the trousers, all of it, the jacket and the trousers are like a very like deep, verdant green that kind of looks almost black from a distance. But no, Dante is dancing, having to learn modern iterations of older dances and sometimes falling back into old habits.
I imagine also, I got the feeling Dante's like the newest knight. And that we can imagine that in season 1 of our show, Dante's awakening was a major arc at one point. So there's still this freshness around you, and perhaps you haven't been the nobles haven't had as much exposure to Dante either.
He kept it that way for a reason.
But tonight, they are trying to get as close a look at you as they can. From across the room, we can see the sort of silvered, reflective mask of why is her name failing me right now?
Rasmus,
thank you. Of Erasmus as she's sort of panning across the room. And in the reflection, maybe we can see some of the figures sort of swirling across the ballroom. That brings us to Tamara. Where are you? And I have to ask. I want to ask. I'm dying to know. Who are you wearing?
Tamara definitely asked Isabel what's the fashion right now, and finding out it was a pantsuit, went to Annika's father, Conrad, who's very much been a father figure to Tamara since she lost her own parents, and got a hold of one of his old suits. So she's wearing Conrad. She would have tailored it herself to fit her much smaller frame, because Conrad's a pretty heavy set guy, and used the fabric to create a little bit of a bustle, so it's a bit more like a tailcoat on this dark navy suit. And she's taken some silver thread and embroidered tiny stars on the lapels, just to give it a little bit of what she hopes makes it look a little bit more luxury than what it really is. But she's selling it. She's paired it with a blouse that's take inspiration from what I'm wearing. She's got this kind of sakura flower printed blouse under the shirt, and she's got her Ley artifact, her pen, kind of tucked into the top pocket so that it's sticking out this way and everyone can see the Ley artifact on display. And she's actually, seeing the princeton in the dance floor, has actually approached them much more boldly than she ever usually would, but has decided to ask for a dance.
The princeton, of course, you've all met the princeton and the royal family on various occasions, not often. Does this sort of like raises their eyebrows and does this very flourishing deep bow, like showing off their flexibility, almost like head touching knee, and takes your hand and begins dancing with you across the ballroom floor. Normally, when we roll obligation, or we are in the obligation phase, you would roll with what you are what your lowest score is. Because we have a shared obligation today, if everyone's okay with this, I'm going to say I think we should all roll stars, for this is a social pressure obligation.
Okay.
It's still bad for me.
I think that is
One
Isabel's
star.
lowest, because everyone
Oh.
else's sun.
Yes.
My son is my best.
Oh, I rolled a 5. That's a rare turn up.
Very okay. So that's you get.
So because
you only-
I'm in Eclipse, my stress is now counting down. That's correct. So I'm at
Yes.
full, and I'm going to take 1 off because I rolled a
Mhm.
5. And if we run out, that's bad. We gotta get Tamara out of Eclipse before she
Mhm,
runs out.
mhm. But luckily, you're good at this situation.
Yeah, that was a good start for once.
Okay. With disadvantage. Ho! Damn.
Oh no.
That's a 1.
Oh,
Oh no.
This is Isabel's worst nightmare. I think Isabel's parents are watching Tamara dance with the prince, and just there's like from across the room, Isabel is taken the furthest corner possible, and from across the room, Isabel's mother and then father just like catch her eye and looked into the dance floor, and there's like a "what are you doing" moment, and Isabel just like attempts to, if there was like a tall vase, Isabel, or like urn or whatever in the corner, Isabel would almost be like stepping behind it and like just trying to disappear.
You almost hear your mother's voice. You should be dancing with the prince and not Lord Venkin's secretary.
damn.
Oh god. Just to Aurora, like, help me.
Knight. She's a knight.
Thank you.
I rolled a 5.
So, Dante, are you, dare I say, enjoying yourself?
It is a fairly mindless work to just dance. So I think it helps a bit to not have to think about anything too serious for a moment.
Sure. 1 stress, I mean, that's going grocery shopping for me, basically. Okay, cool.
You only take 1 stress from grocery shopping? Teach me your ways.
Yeah, so cool. Dante and Tamara seem to be enjoying themselves on the dance floor, whereas Isabel is tucked away in this corner, stressing out. We move into the downtime phase. Would we care to use some of this downtime in this scene, if anyone has any ideas for that?
Probably yes, but I do have a question because of the last thing that we did. We ended up keeping, I think because we did our mission last time, I just want to check about our investigation status. I think we did seek answers, which means that our investigation track did not go down, so it is almost full.
Okay.
We're at, we have just 3 empty boxes on investigation, just so that we keep that in mind. So it's not a pressing concern.
Yes.
But also we're not going for the season-ending mission quite yet. We don't have enough information or resources for it.
Right.
So, gosh. Does anyone have downtime that they want to do at the party?
Yes, Tamara definitely does.
Great.
So having danced with the Princeton, made herself very visible to everybody at this party. Everyone saw Tamara. Tamara was at the party tonight. We saw her. So she will kind of, at the end of the dance, sort of politely take her leave, slip off her high-heeled shoes and switch them for the flats that she's got in her purse, and make her way out, because she is off to find wherever it is that prisoners of the Royal Guard get locked up in this place.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And this is a long-term project. She still has to help Annika after failing to stand up for her during the parade last time. So, I think her approach for this is probably she made friends with the rookie Royal Guard, whose name I definitely wrote down somewhere. I named
Put it in friendly characters.
Hector.
Yes. Hector, thank you. You got there faster than me. And probably tried to find out a little bit about the layout of this castle, since they work in the Royal Guard. And so she is going to just try and, with the understanding that all eyes are on this party, sneak her way down there and see if she can straight up just bust Annika out.
Okay. What do you want to roll for this?
Yeah, interesting. I suppose there's an argument for Defy, because this is so going against the authority figures that she usually would try and obey. There's an argument for Flow, because it's kind of a physical, sneaking, stealth thing. I'm equally bad at both. So I guess it's a little bit which aspect of this is the most
only other
important.
one that I was thinking of, because I was thinking Flow, and I was also looking at Conceal.
Could be Conceal, yeah, because I'm being sneaky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you better at Conceal?
No, equally bad at that, yeah. So,
Oh, dealer's choice then.
Okay, I think then I'll go for Conceal, and I will push myself to bring it up to 1 instead of rolling at a disadvantage. So that's two stresses. Because I don't have links, do I? Because we clear those at the end.
Yeah, we
Before
just
I close.
started.
Yeah. So I'll push myself, which means I'm rolling 1.
And you're gaining more stress.
It's going the wrong way because I'm in Eclipse. But yeah, I'm spending the stress.
Okay.
It's going the bad way because
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
I rolled a 1. Whoops.
Why would you go alone?
Not good. It's still
Although it was a
still
4-tick clock, so actually,
Yes.
I just wasted that stress because even the worst result is still enough to fill the clock. So that was bad. That was bad gaming.
It's true.
You couldn't have known. I like it as story. I mean, you're really risking yourself by going around the palace. This is stressful stuff
Yes.
regardless.
I think that's the thing. When she was kind of pushing herself a bit out of her element to dance, she actually found, it's actually quite fun. But now she's doing the scary bit of the mission. So I
Right.
think it would be stressful.
You find your way to the of course you know where the dungeons are. It's just a matter of getting there unnoticed and or making sure Hector is in the right place for you to not have to bribe the guards or intimidate them or something to get your way through. Would you like to roleplay this scene?
Yeah, I think once I get as far as Annika, it would be nice to speak to her.
So you pass through a few dungeons, a few cells, prison cells, where there are some just regular criminals, I guess, like thieves and perhaps a few drunks or what have you. And at the very end, you can see the group of young people that were taken in. And in one of these 2 cells is Annika, who is sleeping on a hard wooden bench when you walk up in your finery.
I think she'll kind of tap, try and gently wake her up. Annika.
Tommy,
Okay, it's time to go, girl. Come on.
go.
Are you gonna stay locked up down here? You got stuff to do.
But you can't release us. If they catch you, you'll lose all your status.
Look, I know that I don't always get your political activism stuff, but I never wanted you to get arrested, okay? And if I hadn't been so concerned with my status, then I would have done something to stop you getting arrested in the first place. But I didn't, because I'm a coward. So now I'm here. So let's go.
Are you taking all of us? And the rest of them are like start waking up and like looking over. There's about
I may as well.
There's 6, 3 in each cell.
In for a penny. Let's do it.
Okay. Hector at the end of the hall is like looking a little concerned, but keeps his mouth shut.
Okay. All right, let's go. And I will hustle everyone out, and I'll sort of pause at Hector and be like, I could hit you if you like.
Oh, you mean to cover it up?
Yeah.
I seriously thought you were like trying to intimidate for a moment. So, like,
that's probably about as well as it would go for her, but no, she was trying to be like to cover
like,
up why you got.
Wait, was that a threat? Yes, you're so smart.
Okay. Okay. I snuck up. I stole your weapon, and I'll grab whatever kind of sheathed sword I assume Hector has. Without taking it out of the sheath, I will just be like, I'm so sorry, and bonk.
He falls to the ground with a big welt across his eye.
Okay, all right, come on, let's go. Okay.
As you lead the rebels to like a side exit where they can get away, Annika stops. Can I? Do you have something to write with?
Yeah, and I'll just hand over
The Ley artifact.
Yeah.
She definitely stops for a moment and is like very gingerly takes it from you.
Annie girl, it's never worked for me, who cares?
She pulls out like one of the just like a random piece of paper that she might have on her that the guards didn't take off. Not any of the flyers that she was giving out, but I imagine you two are of similar bent, random writing paper, blank paper. What's the word? Harm? And she quickly scribbles something on that and then folds it up in a way that creates like its own envelope, and like so that you have to actually unfold it to read it. Can you get this to the prince in?
I can try.
Please. I mean, I know you've done so much for us already, but it would help.
Okay. And she kind of hesitates for a second. She's like, I have something for you too. And she pulls open that clutch bag and she moves aside her high-heeled shoes that are in there and pulls out a decorated, ornate envelope with Lord Venken's seal and a second one that she wrote herself. And it's like, I know I've never really got your political organizing thing, but I'm starting to think that maybe we need to do more information sharing around here. So maybe these are useful.
But these aren't these the hidden mistakes of our past?
Yeah. Maybe they shouldn't be hidden, okay? I mean, maybe they shouldn't be hidden. One of them was unhidden for me recently, and it was so grotesque.
She nods, and then, like, just wraps her arms around your neck, and like pulls you in for the tightest embrace, and then gives you a quick peck on the cheek.
I think she like tears up a bit at that, and it's just like, I have completely failed to help anyone in this place, but you might be able to. So don't get arrested again, okay?
We won't.
Okay. Stay safe.
Goodbye.
Say thanks to your dad for the suit.
And she nods and runs off with the rebels into the dark.
God. And she makes her way back up out of the dungeon, switches back to her nicer shoes.
Can I say that I have an offer of a scene that's possibly a disagreement with Tamara, because as Tamara turns around from that entrance, Isabel is there.
Oh man, yes. I didn't know you were actually here tonight. I hadn't seen you.
Well, everyone saw you.
Good.
You know, I shouldn't let them walk out. People are going to notice, you know.
Let me.
It's... I shouldn't.
Well, you're going to.
Yeah. I am. But you were giving them stuff as well?
Yeah.
Secrets?
Directions for how to get out of here without being seen.
And quite fancy envelopes.
Yeah. Well, Lord Venken likes his notes to be taken on fancy envelopes, so I always have some.
Are you in league with them?
What do you mean in league with them?
They're
just some kids who got arrested right in front of my eyes, and I did nothing to help them, and I felt bad. Okay.
It seems awfully familiar for just kids.
Well, one of them is a friend of mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bear in mind that all of us grew up in fancy houses, hiding behind vases. Some of us lived out there and met people.
I think what I want to know is that what is your friendship with the revolutionaries that were arrested mean to us being able to do our work out in the field? Can we... No, this is... And then Aurora steps forward.
The purple glow lighting up this dark space.
It's a little bit of a proud tradition among the knights to be in league with dissidents and skulking around behind the backs of the authority.
Like you were at the party?
I wasn't doing anything. Isabel asked me to hold back and stay out of sight because I make people uncomfortable.
Yeah. What do you want, Aurora?
Why did you risk yourself down there? You could have been killed in a moment, and you ran forward and you embraced the demon.
Because
the demon.
Because what can I actually do to help other than run in front of you all and get killed? I think it's increasingly obvious that that is the point of me.
I should hope not.
What else have I ever achieved? You know full well that I can't do what the rest of you can do.
You're smart, you're capable, and if other things don't line up for you, you also are compassionate, you know. Isabel is, no offense, Isabel, but she's quite young and learning, and you, it's remarkable how much you put yourself on the line for other people.
Well, we're Ley-Knights, that's what we do.
But make sure that you play your cards right. If you're going to risk everything, make sure that it means that it is meaningful, that if you're going to get caught, that you do it when you have played your entire hand. If you're going to be letting the dissidents run out, make sure that you clean up afterward, or make sure that nobody follows you through the corridor. I had to deter a couple of people. Just be careful when you run into adversaries on planet side.
So you've come here to tell me about how I couldn't even do this on my own. Is that right? You're here to make me feel 2 inches small again, as always. And do you know what, Aurora? I thought for a second you were actually being nice there. I thought for a second you were actually being nice to me. And I've always thought that it was Isabel who was nice to me and you who were a jerk. But you know what? It's both of you. You're just the same, aren't you? You pretend to be nice 1 second, and then it's, oh, but let me just remind you that you are worse than me. I get it. I know I'm worse than you. And that is why I run into things, okay? So you don't need to keep reminding me. You do not need to follow me around to remind me I'm going back to the party, which is something that it turns out I'm better than you at.
Tamara, we need you.
You don't. And you know you don't. You are nothing like me.
Okay. I think that is a good point where it sounds like at least Tamara is about leaving the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well done. Great disagreement. Each player marks 1 stress. Tamara is losing that stress, eclipse stress very quickly. I have to ask, Tamara, you were the second person in this. Was your heart in this fight?
You know, I think it initially wasn't. I think that for a second she thought this might have been an olive branch moment, but unfortunately, Aurora just said the wrong thing at the wrong moment, and then it was. So by the end, yes.
Okay. You're rolling to resist. Moon is despair and heartbreak. Stars is panic and social pressure. Stars does feel like the theme of the evening a little bit.
Moon probably felt like what Tamara was experiencing, but I don't know but maybe it's more about what the scenario was. I'm not sure.
Isabel, do you have any? Were you trying to? Let's go with Tamara. What Tamara was feeling then. Let's go with Moon, despair and heartbreak. Yeah.
Okay.
And then what is Isabel / Aurora rolling here?
I think it's it's either an express or an empathize, but that's coming from Sun. So can I do that? It was.
That's a
but it's a disagreement, right? So I'm consistently coming into these and trying to like connect with people and absolutely failing. And so it might be that it's like it's not really a confess either.
Was it a forgive?
I think so. It might be a forgive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for it.
Let's try it.
Okay. I rolled a 4.
3.
All right. So Aurora, Tamara will get 3 links, and Isabel Aurora will get 1.
Okay.
Great. Back upstairs. Dante, are you still dancing?
Yes. I feel like Dante is aware that the 2 companions that I have come with are both not in this room right now. And I feel like it is my responsibility to make sure that people don't notice that. So I can't leave. But yes, Dante is still dancing. I can't... In terms of things I can do, I've got my project that's going, and what a project it is. One second. I have this open. I've got... Because I kind of need people to come back. Also, a question. So, to get Tamara out of Eclipse, a conversation needs to be had. But does the conversation need to exist as, like, an activity that we're doing, or just separate? Because I feel like it can happen at any time, but if I have it during this phase, or try to have it during this phase, it might not work. Does it have to be one of the, like, downtime activities? Because then it's going to turn into an argument.
I guess you could argue for, like, slightly bending the definition of help a friend recover.
Brilliant. Yes. Okay. Great. That one.
Because even if Tamara hasn't taken any harm, you can start building up that clock so that when she takes harm, it'll be easier to heal.
That's true.
Okay.
I guess.
So yes, I think Dante, seeing Tamara return, because Tamara left first, is probably going to see the look on your face, and beg off from their current dance partner. Just like, thank you, this was lovely. I just need to have a moment with one of my companions. But this dance was lovely. Thank you so much. And just kind of scurry away as quickly as possible. Tamara, a word.
Okay.
He's going to lead you off to a side corner. Just kind of as a waiter passes by, is just going to grab a drink, try to act very casual. Are you quite all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah. Looks like you're having a fun night. You're actually a really good dancer.
Oh, Tamara. And seeing you begin to get a bit emotional is going to, like, gently take you by, like, the elbow and lead you away from the hall proper. Yes, I am trying to have a good night, and I thought you were as well. From a distance, it seems I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm ruining your good time. I'm sorry. I'm fine. You can go back. It's fine.
I should go back and leave you like this.
You
know me for an instant.
Yeah, no. I know. I just ruin everything, don't I? I'm sorry. I'll get myself together. I do. I just let you guys down all the time. You're always getting in harm's way to help me, and Isabel and Aurora hate me, and probably you're going to end up hating me too because you've had to spoil this party to look after me because I'm so stupid. I'm sorry.
Okay, that was many things. Isabel and Aurora don't hate you. I can say that with some certainty. I think things don't always come out the right way with them, but sometimes it's hard to hit two people talking as unison. And I certainly don't hate you, Tamara. I waited 200 years to meet you.
Okay. That's really nice. But you're so strong and you're so cool, and like you just came from the past and you just like were so great at it. And Isabel's she's so smart and she's so measured and she's so confident, and Pillar's so strong, and you're all just so amazing, and I'm just so rubbish. I just feel like I can't do anything like you all can.
Tamara, I didn't start strong. You know that. Pillar 7 has these stories about my prowess and about how spectacular I was, and I don't want to disappoint her. She seems to like them, but for a lot of my missions, I was very scared. I was terrified. It was a bit of a problem, to be honest. I would spend so much time trying to find out what the right way was to do something, trying to see what the right move was, and I just didn't do anything. And a lot of people suffered for me for that.
Oh, Dante, I'm sorry. It's kind of hard to imagine you not springing into action.
Well, there was a night, Keenan, and he was very instrumental in me getting my act together. Essentially, he said, if you value this team and if you value your life, you won't wait, you'll do. And it hurt me the first time he said that. I thought I was trying my best.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing wrong, why it wasn't working. But I realized what he meant was you have to decide what this means to you and what you are to everyone else. I see you, Tamara. You move through this life trying to please everyone. And I will admit, I get a bit worried that you aren't doing anything for yourself, that you don't know what you want. What do you want out of this? Why are you doing this? You have a Ley artifact, and yes, it hasn't worked yet, and it might never work, and it might work tomorrow.
I just want to be useful.
Do you think being useful will make you more valuable?
Maybe. Hopefully.
And if I tell you you are already incredibly valuable?
Thanks,
Will
Dad.
you believe me? Don't just thank me, believe me.
I'll try. And I think Tamara's gonna bring you into a hug, whether or not you're ready for that. It just throws up her arms around you. Okay. Is my makeup okay?
It can be, and he'll start trying to help you fix it.
Okay, we gotta get back in there. Your moves are too good to waste.
Dance with me a bit. I'll show you what I've picked up.
Okay.
During the conversation, I was thinking about Dante and the fact that you're sort of choosing to be frozen for the future meant that the kingdom at that time had one less night to help collect mana. And what a sacrifice that must have been for the kingdom and the other knights of your time. And I can see Knight Keenan. I'm imagining like a shield as his Ley artifact.
Mhm.
I feel like there's a statue of him somewhere in the castle. Okay. What are you rolling? What action do you want to choose for this?
I feel like you picked one immediately.
I did, but I did ask the question.
It's like confess or empathize.
Okay.
Is that either or?
Yeah, whichever one. Dealer's choice. Because I was looking at empathize as well, but they're like two sides of the same coin.
Okay, I'll do confess.
Okay.
I think. Okay. 'Cause at least that way I won't be negative. A 5.
A 5. Okay, so that'll be 3 segments of your recovery clock. Wait, is that correct? Yes.
Okay. And I think that as they head together back towards the dance floor, Tamara really, really listens to what all of the knights say, even though she argues with just about everything Isabel says. And she's really thinking about, like, what do I want? What do I want? And she's like, I want to dance. And I think that eclipse just falls away as she remembers that these people are her friends. And yeah, that does the trick. And we are in downtime currently, which means I get to clear all my stress. Hey!
Yay!
I escape from the eclipse for this occasion.
Perfect.
Oh my god! Thank goodness.
Yay.
How close were you to...
I had 5 left, so we were okay, but it was a bit touch and go. So that's good.
Is Jacob?
I have another downtime action to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll describe the scene, and then we'll figure out specifically what it is, if it's an investigation or a project. But it's after the party, back in the home of the Dawn family.
Okay. Are we good with letting the party end after that? Or did anyone have anything they wanted to do while the party was still happening?
I think Tamara has one more thing to do.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Jacob? If we...
If that's okay. Which I don't think we need to role play out. And I'm not even sure if it counts as a downtime action, but we can make it one if you want. And since we're already being a little bit loosey-goosey. I think she's going to, once she's danced with Dante a bit, go back and dance with the Princeton again and find a moment to slip that envelope into their pocket.
I would like a roll on this because the clock that you just finished had a poison promise attached to it. And so there is another clock that is still running based on that. So depending on how well or how poorly, depends. It'll fill up the secondary, the poison clock, as it were.
Amazing. Okay. How terrifying. How terrifying. I'm trying to think what it would be. I suppose it could be a conceal, trying to, like, sleight of hand something.
Yes, or flow, because you're dancing
flow?
and moving gracefully. I know that those are both equally bad for you.
Both equally bad. Let's go for it and see what happens.
Is there any way I could assist in this?
If you take stress.
Yeah, mechanically.
Yeah, why
stress.
not?
All right.
Let's take some stress. I think Dante will, still dancing, just move like with the swish of their very long jacket, just at the correct time when Tamara is moving her hand to slip this into the Princeton's pocket.
Love that.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a little bit of concealment.
That brings me up to a 1 straight
A
up and down.
1. Better than disadvantage.
That was a 6. Hell yeah! Thank you, Red.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Dante's absolutely just smashing it tonight.
Oh, let's not talk too fast.
Jinxed it.
Okay. So it won't have as many tracks. It'll have the least amount of tracks filled in for that. Perfect. The note gets slipped into the prince's pocket. And with that, if there's anything left, we can end the party. And maybe that's not even something that happened on screen. We just know that it happened at some point. Because I feel like that dancing, the image of you two dancing, is a great way to end the party scene and move to the Dawn Manor and Isabel's home.
So the Duke retires to his study after the party, and Isabel had left after that interaction. She just walked out, like tears stinging in her eyes, but holding it back as best she could. But later that evening, she waits at home until she knows that the Duke is home, and she sees that dim light go on, and she walks into the study, and just without even like knocking or announcing, she just says, "Good evening, Father. I want to know, in your time administering the project of the artifacts, how often does it happen that an artifact halfway bonds with someone but doesn't give them the ability to uplift, to transcend? Does that worry you? What do you think is happening?"
The Duke is sitting at this big, like, wooden desk, mahogany, perhaps.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the only wood that comes to mind at the moment. And mahogany desks are always sort of like the picturesque, impressive, intimidating desk sort of thing.
As Isabel walks in, she like takes one of those whiskey bottles and like pours 2 tumblers and brings one to the desk and sits down across from it.
Well, Isabel, a half bond, you ask? I honestly can't say if I've seen a incomplete bond. It either works or it doesn't. The result is binary.
Then why does Tamara walk around with a ley artifact? We know that there's something there, that there's a connection of some sort, so why can she not transcend? This must be extra worrying for you because of my condition, because of the comb, and because of all of what that means, that we must be in such a precarious position, and then we failed a mission, and I just want to know what's on your mind, and how can I help you with this?
Is this how would he be thinking this is a normal conversation, or like an average way that you would approach him? Because in my mind it feels like a sort of direct.
It is direct, it is uncharacteristic, and
brazen is what I would come to mind a little bit.
Yes, and what I'm going for is I'm specifically aiming to ask questions to figure out how to help Tamara activate this object. and if the inactivation of it is a problem for us, that it's part of a bigger problem for the kingdom, and then also to just sort of temperature check. But yeah, quite brazen in a way. So, but like trying to confront him to like put us on equal footing in a way, be like, I see you as a and I'm a knight, and I understand this as well.
Interesting. It's also asking questions that I myself have not thought of.
Yeah.
I feel like the Duke would be honest for the most part. As far as I know, and as I can tell, given the tools at my disposal, Knight Tamara Ayudo has officially properly bonded with her Ley artifact. What is your Ley artifact called again?
If it has a name, she does not know it yet.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that changes things also. As far as I can tell, she is connected officially, properly, with her Ley artifact. However, the pen's arrival in our kingdom is fresh. There's not been a knight in our creche that has borne this artifact before. We don't even know its name, its title. That brings the question, Michelle, maybe you can answer this. Where did this pen come from?
So I think in my mind that it was born by knights, but so long ago that it was just forgotten about. And when it was kind of recovered, everyone thought it was so forgotten about that people thought it must have been new.
Well, it was born potentially by knights of other creches.
Maybe, yeah.
And it's just this creche doesn't have it logged in their history books.
Mm-hmm. And possibly because of the fact this creche treats the past as anathema, they just don't have good enough records to go far enough back to know where it could have come from.
For sure. There have been those within the artifact program, which I think is what we've been calling it. And he takes a big deep sip of the whiskey, who try to claim that it is due to Tamara's common standing that the artifact isn't reacting properly to her.
Do you believe that?
No. The artifacts have nothing to do with birth or blood. As far as I can tell, it's chance. That is why we have the factory. That is why we have the program, to expose as many trained warriors as possible to the artifacts and create a knighthood that will keep this kingdom surviving.
But yet she can transcend.
I can't answer that for you, Isabel. Despite the fact that we forced your connection with the Twilight Comb? The Twilight Comb. You are still able to transcend. Otherwise, it would not. Your connection would not have been sufficient. If Knight Ayudo can't transcend, it is a personal failing. It has nothing to do with the artifact and her connection to it itself.
How is it a personal failing if you can force mine?
You have the skill, the talent. Perhaps her talents lie elsewhere.
I don't know about that.
That's not for me to judge. Whatever your personal grudge with the young woman is, don't let it get in the way of your duty and responsibility to this kingdom.
I have no grudge. I want her to... She is an equal, and I want her to not... I want her to not feel that she's in jeopardy all the time. I want her to reach that potential. And I had to ask because I just had a sensation that maybe you knew something. This is a matter for the entire kingdom. If she was able to access all of it, then maybe we wouldn't be struggling so hard. And this is more a problem with the program.
I am going to ask for an express action.
Yeah.
And I think this is an investigation.
Sure. And
Because
I'm trying
this
to
is-
gather information.
Yes, gather information, because this is going to flavor our mission today.
Okay, so if this is an express, then I absolutely am going to push myself, because I was aiming for... I tried to get to empathize.
Stress.
I tried to get to empathize to get him to open up, but I guess it got into more of an exchange than I...
It could have been Defy. I'll take Defy for this as well.
Okay, great. I'll take Defy and push myself, so I
Okay.
get 2 dice
Okay.
on this. And it's a gather information and investigation. Well, not so great. It's a 3.
3. Okay, that's
Yeah,
too many
but I have a-
things.
Good question for it. So it's 2. I think it's 2 blocks.
2 investigation segments, which means there's only 1 left. So if we can get that 1.
Oh, I get an extra die because it's an investigation and it's our thing.
And mark XP.
Come on,
correct.
come on, come on, come on. It's a 2.
Okay.
It's 2, 3, 2. Okay.
Not that
So-
we needed investigation get any higher because we're not doing a.
I know.
Well, do we want to do a tier 3? No, we're not doing a
It
tier
ends
3
the
mission
season.
yet.
Yeah.
That'll end the season. So you're fine, but this at least you'll gather some information with this.
Yeah. And I have a question that I want to ask.
Yeah, you only
as
get
well.
one question with this gather
One
information.
question. Yeah. Is anything like our result increased because of our thing? No, just mark XP. My playbook is full now, but I don't think I do anything with it until the end of the session. My question is, what here is incomplete?
What year is incomplete? Your the Duke's knowledge
Yeah.
is incomplete
Okay.
for sure. He does not have full understanding of the situation.
Great.
Of Tamara, of the artifact, but he lets you know there is. As you know, and he stands and goes to a big book that's full of tomes of knowledge about ley artifacts, because that is his specific focus area of study. He's got a PhD in it.
He's got a PhD in ley artifact.
There is a place. Every kingdom on Earth had created artifacts in the hopes of driving back the demons, and we have, as you know from your studies, have rehabilitated these artifacts to collect mana and survive on the moon. But I know of a place where knights were sent to further increase the bond with their artifact. Quite sacred place in the wilderness. It was from a kingdom that had espoused some of the more techno-magical means of artifact creation and focused on spiritual access. Perhaps if you went there on your next mission, you might find the answers you're seeking.
Thank you.
And Isabel, next time, knock.
No.
Ah!
That was Aurora walks out.
eyes flash purple as she leaves the room. Okay. We've got 2 more downtime actions.
We don't have to roleplay it so much, but I'm going to work on the project that I've been working on.
I think because of also the Adrena has started like reaching out to you with tips, like suggestions. She's like sending small notes. They're literally arriving by like Raven. Or like
so strange,
like a ring, or like a satchel with like certain herbs. She's like, burn these at midnight under a full moon while you're studying.
We're at the
Yeah,
under a full earth. Okay,
under a full earth, exactly. Yeah. So let's do. How do you want to? What do you want to roll for this?
Okay, so I could analyze, or I could get a little funky, and that doesn't really work here. Never mind. Yeah, I think I'll probably go for analyze and then push myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that just gives me 2 die, and then I'll take a stress.
Stress.
I mean, I'm still not doing too badly, you know. That's a 5 and a 1, so a 5.
5 is good. 3 segments marked. Which hits another milestone. And you only have 2 more segments. So if you work on this next time, you will absolutely finish the project and learn
Yay!
how to disconnect a knight from their ley artifact.
Wonderful.
This new milestone. The owner of this book, the person who wrote in this book was the owner of the metallic rod and studied ley bonds. I think you, because we're getting loosey-goosey, I feel like Dante, especially with your chrono magical connection, are learning how to read other people's ley bonds. Like it's like just from reading through it, you could see, because the way you have that perceive ability, right? I feel like, does that make sense?
Yes, no, it does. It's basically like seeing through time to when it was constructed, how it was constructed, how it connects to people.
And because of the way that the ley artifacts work, where it does have the memories and the essences of the previous wielders of that artifact, you can actually start to like see into it and through that sort of avatar line of previous incarnations. Cool.
Oh, it's gonna get very wibbly wobbly.
Yes.
Okay, that's me.
I also wonder if the Anachronist blade changes with this new ability. Like there's a new facet or gem inset to it, like just an extra color lights up.
I would say to others, the Anachronist blade often looks the same. It looks like just this kind of very old, fairly decrepit blade. To Dante, the Anachronist blade never looks the same. The hilt of the sword is when it wants to be. And so right now when Dante looks at it, it looks as if it had been made anew.
Hmm.
And he's just looking at this glistening hilt and wondering, I hope that this is the right thing.
Okay. We have one last downtime action. Because Tamara gets 3.
Yes. Does anyone have any harm that isn't yet cleared? Oh, how can I help Isabel recover? I think what it is, we don't have to necessarily roleplay this, but I think that without necessarily telling Isabel and Aurora this is what she's doing, Tamara's just going to take some time after the party to try and pick up any sort of odd jobs and duties and obligations that usually would fall into Isabel's lap and just kind of head them off. I think she feels bad about the fact that she's once again lashed out when she was in that bad place, and she's not quite ready to apologize directly because she's so intimidated by Aurora, but she is going to try and do something to give Isabel a little bit of space to recover.
Okay, cool.
I think she finds, given my stress here, I think Tamara finds like a surprising amount of tasks that that Isabel is doing.
Yeah, I think she does. I think she realizes she's been underestimating how much pressure has been placed upon her, and when she starts taking on all these tasks. So I'm trying to think what this is. It might be an empathize, actually, as she's kind of taking on someone else's role for a bit, kind of under the radar. And I'm bad at that, so I'm sorry. But oh, hey, whoa, I just critted. So, but it was at a disadvantage, so I don't think it might only count as it's still a 6,
Okay.
though.
So that's 4 segments. You fill a whole heart. If you hadn't already had some.
And am I right that if it goes back around, so
It spills over into the
goes
next
back
one.
to where it was?
And that removes your 1 harm. I think you only had the 1 from our first session.
Yeah.
Okay. So, great downtime. Is everyone okay with that mission of going to this sacred place in the wilderness to try and strengthen our bonds with our ley artifacts?
I have a question, which is that because we have coming up, just sort of looking forward story-wise, we have coming up this Drive Back the Blight mission next time. Regardless of what our investigation level is, we're going to step into this. Is this with that in? Is there sort of like a bigger plan that's coming out from the Ley-Knight program in terms of like making a big mission in this moment? Are we like, do we know we're preparing for something big, or do we have hints that anything is coming? Just to get sort of like a couple of other details around it.
It's true. Because we've sped through the fallout so quickly in the last 2 sessions that we haven't really had time to delve into what is happening and what's growing.
And we've seen also, last time we had this reveal of this kind of horrible capture and experimentation of these so-called demons. And we saw a little peek behind the curtain for Aurora of why she may have betrayed people in the past, or taken those actions, if you can call them betrayal or not. I think there's the question, is it connected to something, or do we see Is there a link in here just to put this mission into a larger context for us?
I do have something where I would like to. This will connect it.
Okay.
Um, I can tell you what I have in mind if we want to, or yes. Let me just tell you. All cards on the table. We did some investigation last time about forcing connections with artifacts, and we discovered that the mask that Rasmus is wearing is an artifact.
Yes.
I think we're going to do a steel power mission to go to this sacred space. We're not necessarily, but you will end up having to use force or deception to succeed at this mission, because
You don't have to spoil things for us. I just wanted to put it in if there's like a justification that it's, or if it's part of something bigger.
Thank you for the check-in, because it is especially as we're learning this system, it has been hard to like, okay, where does this go? How do these pieces fit together? But I think I think I have something where it's all going to start coming together.
Yeah, I think as well, like, in terms of character justification, I think we've got some great, like, the threats seem to be getting bigger, and we don't seem to be equipped kind of level of, like, what are we going to do kind of thing.
Is there, just to give us, like, an obligation check-in with it, is there a rising threat from demons, and or have other missions been failing, and has it just been getting progressively harder to get what we need?
I don't necessarily think it's that there's a rising threat of demons, but there is this build up internally in the kingdom of things that are happening. The demons are just, as we talked about in our like session 0, are sort of chilling. Like they're in, when we go to the earth, nothing seems out of the ordinary there. They are in tune. They are in the cycle of nature.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, great. Then, dear viewers, we will take this moment to take a 5 to 10 minute break. So stand up, stretch your legs, refill your waters, and use the facilities. And we will be back in a moment. Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Nights by Leylight. We are diving straight into the mission, and we're going to kick that off with an engagement roll. So at the start of the mission, the protagonist will make a special fortune roll. There's always hope. They start with 1d for the mission, 1 die. Is the mission particularly heroic or noble? Yes. Although it is the true goal of this mission is concealed by Isabel from the rest of the group a little bit, it does have some noble aspects to it. Is it following through on details from the protagonist's investigation? Absolutely. Does this mission determine the fate of a friend?
Oh.
Yes.
It might.
Does the tier exceed the current tier of the investigation track? No. Okay, so we're rolling 4 dice.
Okay.
Who wants to roll this? Who hasn't made an engagement roll yet?
I haven't.
All right, Dante, let's get that engagement roll. 4 dice.
One four.
Okay, because we started the last 2 missions in bad, desperate positions with bad results. A 4 is a mixed result. We're in a risky position when the action starts. The plan is holding together just barely. The protagonist will need to take steps right now to avoid disaster. Which is good, because I kind of wanted to start this mission off like quietly, if that makes sense.
Great.
We see our 3 knights walking through a shrouded forest. It is a full moon, and it's lighting up the sort of the light from the moon is filtering through the leaves of this forest. The light from your home, interestingly enough. And we see our three knights making their way through these woods. Dante, can you tell me what it is about this forest that feels sacred to you?
I think there's a lot of forests that we go through that are reclaimed forests that have emerged from the loss of people. But this forest feels as if it's been here since people were here, perhaps since before people were here, and it has maintained itself. And its unchanged nature, I think, is what feels sacred. It lingers, and maybe he feels connected in a way that he doesn't normally.
It's because Dante can perceive the way things change through time. I would imagine it's a little disconcerting, like odd, to be in a place that has not changed ever. Interesting. Tamara, what is it about this forest that feels sacred to you?
I think that Tamara has a notebook open, as she always does. But she's found herself kind of doodling almost as they walk, rather than just fixating on notes, because there's so much beauty in the nature of the plants, the ways that there are these symbiotic relationships with vines growing around the trunks of old trees, but not throttling them, becoming part of them. And she can't help but find herself drawing out and creating artwork with what she sees, these plants and this part of life that doesn't really get seen. The only plants that she really sees up on the moon are crops and are sort of seen as functional. This is beauty for beauty's sake, and I think she really loves that.
That you're writing. So there must be something about this place that is connecting you to your ley artifact, or compelling you to connect with it.
Maybe so.
Okay, this question can go to either Isabel or Aurora. And the question is, what is it about this place that feels sacred to you?
I think for Isabel, this place feels sacred because she feels a little bit like she's driven by a kind of sacred ambition, in a way, to do something that others before her have failed, and she knows that this is the place that might have that power. And so she's driving toward that. So it's more of like an ambition, an energy, a potential that's locked away in this place.
We step out into a grove. And this grove is touched. I think it's one of the first touches of humankind that you've seen here. And it's a small stone temple isn't the right word. It's not a building or even a proper structure, but this grove glade. There's a stone pool in the center of this glade, filled with a clear liquid water that is almost glowing in the full moonlight that's coming down from above. These 4 stone pillars surround the pool at each of its corners. And opposite you from where you walked in between the 2 pillars on the far end of this pool, is a plateaued altar that one could walk up towards. And we see a sort of formless statue. I say formless because its identity is hard to make out. You've seen ancient structures in your travels of the earth, in which you can see statues that are clearly that they have their gender fully expressed, or their position, or their responsibility, their trade. This is just, it fully represents person in all of its aspects. And they're sitting cross-legged, holding another a small like bowl, stone bowl, that's also filled with this glowing liquid. And you can feel the mana in this space that's been collected inside of the water.
Is there any, I would like to, I think from Aurora kind of stepping forward, Aurora may have been here before, long ago, but Aurora wants to just gather some information and perceive and try to find out if this place is safe.
Okay. Perceive and gather information.
Yes. So I'm not good at perceiving. That's a 3.
Okay. One question.
Yeah. I'm going to say, using the question of what are you really feeling, to ask this place. This place looks serene and it looks sacred, and there's this pool of mana, but what is it? What is really going on here? It sits here untouched, and it's this this place where it seems like the mana is always available, but there has to be some reason why we don't just always go here.
Aurora's eyes are scanning the outskirts of this glade, and in the full moonlight, she can see the discarded remnants of knights that have come here previously. Armor and uniforms, boots, belts, etc. that have been thrown to the edges of this grove, and bushes have now overgrown them. Some of them covered in blood.
She's going to just sort of put up a hand and point. This place is not safe.
I thought we might be having an easy one for once, but guess not.
Nothing on Earth is ever easy, I think.
Mm-mm.
So, just so I get the layout clear, ahead of us is this pool. How far away are the discarded things? Like, did we pass by them and not notice them, or is it like to the side?
It's to the side of this space. It's not, you didn't pass by them. It's
Okay.
clearly, if the people who they belong to entered into this space just as you did.
Okay. I could look a bit closer and see if I can see what happened. Yeah. Let's. It's essentially doing the same thing that that Aurora did, but I'm going to look through time and perceive why this is like this.
Take an extra die because you have assistance on this.
Yay. Does this relate to my fated person?
To Aurora,
Mm.
I mean, besides the fact that she noticed the things,
Mhm.
I don't think so.
Okay. So then that is gather info, perceiving.
It is exactly the same roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a
Yeah,
cool. You're peering through time instead.
So +1 effect level, that is a 2.
Okay, but the effect level goes up, so I will give you. Hold on, effect level. Yes, yeah. So go ahead and ask a question, and I'll give you a follow up on this.
Okay. I could. What really happened here? But I think I want to know actually what is already in motion here.
Okay, we can see the. I think in the past when we've done this, we can see like the strands of time moving around Dante, and Dante is perceiving everything. And I think you rewind past all of the deaths that have happened, enough that we don't know exactly how they happened. But to a point where we see that what is in motion here is that this is someone's home. Someone lives here. And this being has taken on the form of this formless one. That you can, due to the purplish sort of patterning across their skin, you get the sense that they are a demon. And that they are protecting this space.
Okay. And I get a follow-up?
Yes.
Do they see us as a threat?
Yes.
Cool.
And you go to the statue, your eyes go up to there, and you know the demon is inside of it and watching you.
Dante's eyes will look towards the statue and then just wash away as if just kind of sliding past. There's a demon. It sees us.
I think Tamara is doing what she often does, which is not so much doodling, but kind of sketching things out with purpose now. It helps her to analyze things. She's going to try and really look at this space. And since Dante said the demon has seen us, she's not worried about being noticed. So she's going to quite openly be looking at everything and trying to take in what she can, to see kind of if she can get any clues about how to safely proceed. I'm pushing for an analyze roll. They've used
I was
the
already
word.
like, don't tell me we're doing a third perceive roll.
I think it's an analyze because she's looking more specifically at the details. Especially, I think, around the statue, if Dante has kind of tried to subtly notice
moving into this space, I'm going to call this a risky action.
That's fair. Yeah, that's consistent, I guess, with what our roll gave us. So, oh, I got a 6.
Nice.
Nice.
Do it.
Lovely.
You just do it.
You just do it.
Just do it.
You begin analyzing the space, and it's interesting because the more you do this, the quicker the pen flows. to a point where you're holding your notebook, but your hand is no longer guiding the pen. It is flowing free of its own accord, illustrating the space around you. I think in a way that probably hasn't happened before. You get the sense, so I'll give you a few things. And in fact, we're going to call this another gather information. So two questions and a follow-up.
Okay, just looking at what my questions are. I want to ask, I know that there's a demon, a presence here. I want to ask, what are your unmet needs?
Do you ask that?
I think I'm trying to figure out that. It's probably more accurate, yeah.
Unmet needs. That's a great question. What is a demon's needs? What do they need?
I think that after the encounter last time, she's sort of starting to think they might have more to them. And it's like, well, maybe if we can figure out what it needs, it won't hurt us.
Based on the illustrations that are coming through, you sense that the mana here has been untapped maybe has never been tapped before, and that the ley node that has been gathering in here is fresh and pure in a way that we haven't seen. Tapping this energy source would feed your kingdom for a long time because of the amount of stuff here. That would also cause everything here to change, and this sacred space to lose all of its ability, all of its, not just ability, that's not the right word, but its essence. The demon simply chooses to protect that.
Okay. I think that the other thing that Tamara might be finding through this this thing, where I think it might be a little bit like if you play a musical instrument, sometimes you just get really in that in that flow state, and you almost don't realize you're playing it so perfectly, and then when you start to think about what you're playing, you clunk it. I'm miming a violin. You can tell what I play. And I think it's almost that, like, she's almost doing this without realizing that she's just kind of hovering her hand right now. And I think that she's trying to figure out, and the question I'm going to ask from the list is, where can I find the beauty here? And what I'm trying to discern with that is, obviously we found this ley node, it's very aesthetically beautiful, but is there something more to it than just being beautiful? Is there something about the space which means that tapping it that it changing would be awful in a way we don't understand? I guess is what I'm trying to get at with that question.
I think if you would compare it with places you've been before, because we know that the ley nodes regain they regain mana over time. And it's possible if you are a knight long enough, you will return to a ley node that you have tapped once before. Or you will find nodes that have been tapped many times over. But there is a distinct lack in the environment around it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's less green or bountiful, because you've also tapped nodes in... we were in sort of a more mountainous sort of steppe area, and that in and of itself wasn't lacking in mana. But the colors in general seem duller. The air stifles. There is a distinct lack of essence, or rather presence, in spaces that have been over-tapped. And that is what the beauty here is. Having never been tapped, this place is not lacking in any way, shape, or form. And I think all three of you notice just standing here, breathing in this space, standing under the light that is filtering through the sky from the moon into this space, is almost in and of itself re-energizing you and filling your artifacts with mana.
And I get a follow-up?
Mhm.
Is that right? And that can be anything. Oh, the possibilities. I think that Tamara's gonna kind of, again, she doesn't really notice she's doing it, but she just takes the pen back in her hand, and she's kind of tapping. She's thinking. And she says aloud, we don't mean you any harm, but there are a lot of people who need some power that we can collect to be okay. So we're just coming here to try and protect people we care about. Is that? Can you let us do that?
The statue that is there holding this bowl registers. It sets the bowl down in between its legs and stands up like 12 feet tall. And you can begin to see these like dark purplish sort of emanations moving on its stone, the surface of its stone, like it's like a fluctuation of its skin patterning tone. And you can hear a voice echo out. No. Many people need, but this space shall remain unchanged.
Aurora is going to step forward, if it's okay, and take this moment. Aurora steps forward into the glade, like into the space. Unthreatening, but strong in posture, and says, a nameless guardian of this sacred place. I would introduce myself. My name is Aurora Twilight. I come at the end of days of humanity who struggles to survive, fled from their home where they once were. All things change. If you hold this place in such a stasis that nothing can change here, that there can be no flow of the life energy, then how can it truly be alive?
Such a human way of thinking, that all things must change. Yes, seasons come and go. Winter, too, does fall upon this place. But since your kind have been driven off this planet, the Earth has become unchanged. It has returned to its stable cycle once more. We are better protectors of this planet better than you ever were in the thousands in the thousands and thousands of years that humankind walked this ground.
Another step forward. Yet we are also children of this place. And you are not, if I understand correctly.
I am an immigrant to this planet. A visitor from the stars who has chosen to make this place my home. Yes. That does not give you any more right to claim here, this space, than I. For I have been here for centuries, and you, minutes.
I believe we're not trying to make a claim, but ask if some of the bounty of this place can be shared.
There have been others like you who have come before, who have tried to claim and tap this space for the power it holds. They did not fare well.
We wish you no harm in this moment. We wish only to come into a agreement, into an understanding, rather than conflict in this way. I'd like to aim for to open it up. We're offering a hand of friendship is probably too far, but a hand of understanding.
Let's call this a controlled action because of the 6 that we got from Tamara when it was risky.
Yeah.
We've managed to gain control on this situation.
Yeah. And I'm aiming for forgive in a way. But if you have a different thing that you think is coming out, let me know. Could also be express, which is worse for me.
Forgive? You show
Yeah.
that you care for someone despite a mistake they made. You're forgiving the demon for killing knights that have previously come here? Sure.
I'm asking for an agreement, like offering the hand.
Yeah.
I have 1 die in forgive. I would like to ask if there's like a poison promise that I could take in this moment to get a 2nd die.
Okay.
Or I just roll 1 die if you don't have one off the top of your head. But I could think of something of like Aurora is recognized by this thing from times past, and it makes a specific request of her, or something of this nature. Or we're asked to leave something behind.
Does someone else have an idea for a poison promise?
Well, so if this did succeed, what would it be trying to achieve?
It would be, I think what I'm asking for is that we make an agreement that we can take some of the energy from this place.
Could be that it will harm us in some way. Like maybe not the statue, but like maybe that if we proceed with trying, something harmful will happen, regardless of whether it succeeds. That's like a fairly straightforward one, but it could be that we will come to harm if we stay here and carry on trying.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes, you can take it.
Okay, cool. Is that the promise? Do I get to know the parameters of the promise I'm making?
The promise is that
I'm willing to take harm if I need to.
No,
Okay.
I know what the result of this will be.
Great. I don't need to know it. Here we go. That's a 6 and a 1, so 6.
Yeah.
You do it.
Do it.
Only once before have I allowed someone to siphon some of the natural energy of this space, and the waters ripple, and we see an image of a tall, broad-shouldered man with dark black skin tone, holding a shield. And Dante, you recognize Knight Keenan from your time, but older, with there's like gray in his beard now. As he's like nodding and kneeling and looking up in the direction of the altar. Only once before has someone proved their sincerity, was able to siphon some of the power from this space. And although, and the head of the statue like tilts like this, and although your people seek now to control my allies in the forest, I will allow you access.
Our people seek what?
You may take. And the statue sort of like folds itself back down and sits. And from behind, you hear as Rasmus steps out. You first see the silvered mask. Is that what we're calling it? The silvered mask?
The polished mask.
Thank you, the polished mask. Like in the darkness of the woods, reflecting the light from and as she steps out, you can see those tendrils that we saw in the flashback are not there at the moment. And Rasmus steps out. Well done. When Duke Errol told me that he had sent you here, I was afraid that you wouldn't come back. So many knights in the past have been unable. But now, our kingdom, we could last for months on this note alone. The power we could bargain and barter with our fellow Kracians, we could expand, touch some of our neighboring kingdoms.
That is not what this is for.
Is it not? Are you not knights?
I will not let my actions be used in this way again.
Is this not your duty?
We're supposed to take what's needed, not just as much as we can get.
What's needed is as much as possible. And like there's this like shift in her voice as she like sort of like looks down at you with that evil glare.
Aurora steps forward and says, I won't allow it.
Is that so? And will you three stop me?
We'll do what is necessary.
She lifts up a hand and then like pulls it back down like this fist motion as the tendrils pop out from the polished mask. And the trees and the bushes behind her begin to rustle as a pack of demonic wolves come out from behind her, baring their teeth at you all.
Go ahead.
No. Just you go.
No, the thing I was going to say was I'm transcending.
I don't transcend. I go directly for a tackle of Rasmus. I think not quite realizing what's going on, just like a physical tackle.
Okay.
I think I don't register fully that Rasmus is transcended at this moment because I'm not as keyed into them as Dante.
Okay. You go to tackle. This is going to be because she's transcended and you are not. This is going to be desperate.
Automatically desperate.
Mark an XP.
Yes.
In whatever attribute.
I think it's defy. Just
yes.
Directly.
Go for it.
Okay. It's one die. It's a 1.
As soon as you go, like two of the wolves just like pounce on you from opposite directions, knock you straight down to the ground.
Yeah.
Can I go straight to a level 2 harm?
Yeah.
You have a level 2 harm. I'm looking for the word hamstrung.
Okay.
They've taken a chunk out of your calf as they pulled you to the ground.
Just torn, like bleeding, trying to kick the wolves away.
Okay, moon power makeup, Dante.
Moon power, makeup, activate. Just a series of latches, unhook. Sword emerges. Can I? Okay. So, one of my transcendent abilities is I can when I push myself, I can additionally either trade places with my fated person or briefly remove an ally or foe from the flow of time. So I would like to briefly remove Rasmus from the flow of time.
Interesting. Okay, does that mean she leaves this space? Or is like frozen?
Yeah, so it's basically like freezing her just so that she cannot progress in motion, essentially freezing her in this moment. Okay.
And this, I don't know, like clock motion around her, like boom, 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 boom. Very Final Fantasy, like stops on her, and this clawed fist she had made is still there, but like there's this also blue haze around her, like she's not in that dimension anymore. Okay, Tamara.
Yeah, I think I'd love to do a little flashback if that's okay.
Oh, our first flashback.
Yeah, I think that at some point while we were back on the moon, Tamara approached Pillar 7 and asked for some help with training and combat. And I think that Pillar 7, they might have spent some time just helping Tamara brush up her sort of weapon skills. So she has brought a short sword with her on this mission, and I think she's going to pull that sword and try to attack one of the creatures that's on Isabel to help Isabel get up. / Aurora.
I don't know if that will take any stress from that.
Okay.
It is just a simple item, equipment that is very easy for a knight to get access to. Also. Okay.
Then I'm going to. I'm gonna push myself on this roll, and I'm also going to, if I'm allowed to do this, also spend a link to recover the 2 stress.
Yes, go for it.
Nice.
Great. So I'm spending a link on Isabel to try and / Aurora to try and help, which brings. Well, I assume this is a defy because it's like fighting. So that'll bring it up to a straight up and down roll. What position am I in?
It's risky. Rasmus has been removed from the flow of time for the moment. It's just the wolves. 2 of them are on top of Aurora anyway. So we're just risky.
Okay, risky. I rolled a 1.
No.
Yeah, as you move forward, more wolves converge on you. We're going to go with 1 harm.
Okay.
Claude, and your next roll will be in a desperate position.
Okay, so that's a level 1 Claude. And yeah, I think it's I'm imagining that she doesn't even get a chance. Like she pulls that sword and they're already on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Level 1 Claude.
Back to Aurora. You've got 2 wolves on top of you, and you're hamstrung.
Yeah. I'm going to transcend.
Okay.
I pull the sword or the comb out of the hair. The hair comes out, and there's suddenly 2 images. There's Isabel, and there's Aurora in the shadow version of her, the extended shadow with sort of that shadow flare flame spiking around. My goal is to get. I think that I need to get Tamara and Tamara's pen to this spring, because the pen has ink that is a demon inside it, and I don't know if I can do anything with a flashback to have come up with an understanding that there's a link between demonic energy and the artifacts, because we have this the mask, which has demonic energy, and the pen has this substance in it.
Mana is mana is mana.
Yeah.
I will. Well, let's call that 2 stress.
Cool. Puts me over the edge.
Straight into an eclipse check.
Straight into an eclipse check. What do I roll for the eclipse check?
Use your lowest attribute.
Amazing. That's a 3.
You are an eclipse.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is an offer, and if you want to play out the eclipse, then by all means don't. I can spend a link, I think. Oh no, you rolled a 3. Even if 3, I can't even do that. No, you are an eclipse.
3 and 4. So I go into eclipse. What the eclipse is the you are fractured. A sour note has shattered your harmony, and now there is uncertainty and conflict. Your relationship, once a source of strength, is suddenly tenuous. You are divided, and a difference of opinions keeps you separated. You escape eclipse when someone else mediates your dispute, and your halves are able to reconcile their difference. Remember the promise that I made, the 2 conflicting promises that I made to Tamara at the beginning of this all. This is the conflict where Aurora does not think. Aurora needs Isabel to stay and fight the wolves and to take this mission in a different direction. And Isabel says, we can get this done if we get the pen to this well. And they literally, in combat, stop defending each other, stop working together. I'm at -1 die for whatever I do, but I don't know what using this this flashback does, if it can give me an extra die on this this task. But I would like to open up the way for Tamara. Basically throw myself in, disregarding my physical safety to make sure that Tamara can get there.
So I said you were going to take 2 stress.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that due to this flashback and you having prepared and been knowing that this is your goal, we're going to call this a controlled position. Despite the fact that you're in this like bad position, you're spending stress, and but you've prepared for it.
Yeah, as best I could. Cool. And what do I roll here?
Tamara, what is it going to take to get you and the pen into the pool?
Okay, so Tamara's mostly concerned with helping. So it would be an understanding that this is what the team wants or needs her to do. So some kind of communication, I suppose. So like, that's where I want you to be.
So I think what happens is
confess.
Yeah. So I think what happens is Isabel and Aurora transcend, they separate, and Isabel leaves Aurora in the middle of the wolves and ducks under the wolves onto the other side, and is now in that back-to-back position with Tamara, and just says, we have to get your pen to that mana.
Okay.
It's been my plan. I think it's good for it. I don't know the words to say. It's It's for you. They can force artifacts. Mana is mana. It can help us. It can get us there.
I really want to know what the roll is before I decide
Yeah.
how I react to that.
This is a confess. It would normally be at disadvantage. I'm at -1 die, and I don't know if I get any pluses, so I might still be at disadvantage regardless.
I think so. I think you can't go lower than none, so I guess
No.
you're at disadvantage.
6 and a 4. So
4.
the 4 is
It's controlled. Withdraw and try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence. A minor complication occurs. You reduce effect. You suffer lesser harm, or you end up in a risky position.
I would push Tamara out of the press of the wolf of the demons, the like wolf demons. Is that what they are?
Yeah.
And like push her out and physically like push her toward the center of the glade and take the position so that now my two halves are separated and surrounded by wolves individually.
Michelle, are we okay with that?
Yeah. So which is that?
It's gonna put her in a risky position.
Okay, so it succeeds with a risky position. Okay,
Yes.
then I think that Tamara's kind of hesitating with what you're saying about forcing artifacts. She's not quite sure how to process it, but when you push her, she kind of physically allows it to happen. She's going, but she's still hesitating. She's looking back because she can see that Aurora's in trouble.
Okay, Dante. Rasmus is still frozen in time?
It lasts as long as the action, which I didn't technically roll anything.
That's true.
I didn't, like, so much was happening. I didn't want to interrupt. I was just like, I didn't roll.
I'm sorry. It's one of those things where I was like, I thought, oh, okay, that just happens.
Yeah, it's worded a bit oddly with some of these that it's kind of implied that you're doing.
It was when you pushed yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I spent the stress. But so in that time, I wanted to see as Dante would extend the sword forward, just like to target Rasmus, then to see if he could take down a wolf at the. So that would be, this is the previous time.
One.
So using flow, this works. Time manipulation, it's fine.
Yes.
So that would be 2 die for that. That's a 6. So
you do it.
Dante's working very hard right now. So that wolf, again, it's the sword flicks through the air and it doesn't look like it cuts through the wolf, but the wolf just vanishes. It's like, yeah. And then for this one, so as one of my abilities, I'm just expending a thing. I saw it coming, so I can expend my special armor to resist any consequence relating to surprise or misfortune, to be in 2 places at once, or perform some similar feat of time manipulation. So, time manipulation. Could, and this is up to you. Can I rewind a wolf to just put a bit of distance between a wolf and Aurora?
Okay, yes. Absolutely. Flow always makes sense for the time stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Flo, working so hard. That's a 4.
4. Because of the, I'm gonna say word that that you're controlled. Because of how well Dante's been doing, and he's also not in like direct combat with any of the wolves at the moment.
Yeah.
But this will cause a minor complication or reduced effect. Let's give it lesser harm then. As you succeed in like rewinding the wolf so that it's back, so that Aurora has some space, and you're doing so much time manipulation that you yourself are slightly not out of tune, but like out of rhythm. Level 1 harm, rhythmless.
Ooh.
Oh no, my groove.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
Nope, that's me. I'm good.
Tamara, you've been pushed towards the glade.
Tamara's making her way over there, and she's looking at the statue, and she's looking at Isabel and at Dante. She's taking everything in, and she's thinking, this isn't what we told the demon. I don't understand what I'm being asked to do. This isn't what we agreed with the demon. What am I doing? And she's kind of hesitating. She's just frozen. She doesn't know what to do, and she's not going to act right now.
Okay. All right. Aurora has been given some space from the wolves. That'll move her out of a desperate position.
Okay. Rasmus is still frozen?
Rasmus is coming back. Yes.
Okay.
So that blue sheen over her has faded now.
Yeah. Aurora is going to go for Rasmus and just try to attack the mask, basically.
Okay. All right.
Like she's going directly for it through the wolves, and yeah.
Yeah, this is a risky position thanks to Dante's rewinding.
Cool. I'm going to attempt to I guess it's another defy here.
Okay.
I'm at -1 die, so I'm at disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
God, we're so weak in the early days of these characters. Here we go. 5 and a 4. So
4.
not bad. There's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, or you have reduced effect, or you end up in a desperate position. I do it, but there's a consequence.
Yes.
So I assume I do get a smack in on that mask.
You do. These tendrils that are you manage to like lop off 2 of them on the side as you like smack into her polished mask, but so there's 4 on each side, let's say. They sort of look like whiskers, but then they literally the 2 on one side and the 4 on the other side grow, picking Aurora up by the shoulders and lifting her up into the sky, moving her into a desperate position.
Yeah.
I want to do something now, if I can.
Okay.
So I'm going to protect a teammate. Tamara is standing and she's frozen in indecision as she's looking at Isabella and Aurora being in different places, which she is not used to, and she sees Aurora being picked up, or she sees the tendrils coming towards Aurora, and she thinks to herself, just act. And she runs, and she throws herself and pushes Aurora out of the way so that she gets grabbed instead. So I'm taking the consequence instead of getting into a desperate position.
Okay.
because Dante was doing time stuff, and Isabel had abandoned Aurora in this moment for reasons that Tamara doesn't understand, and that meant that she was the only one who could help her friend. And as she does this, the pen floats out of her hand again, and it turns and it strikes directly into her chest. And Tamara feels this memory in her mind of letters, of reams and reams of love letters written to somebody, saying how much I adore you, how much I want to be with you, how I know it's not proper, I know it's against the hierarchies of our kingdom, but we have to be together. And she feels the flames of each one of those letters being thrown in the fire. And she transcends as the fountain of spilled ink finally activates for her. And ink black tears spring from each corner as her half-length cloak becomes full length, and the embroidered silver moves in illustrations across her as she finally finds it within herself in this sacred place to transcend and protect her friend.
Amazing. Is there a roll? No, I think it just happens.
Protect you can just do
Okay.
to take the consequence. So I'm in a desperate position because I did that.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Aurora's been pushed down up to the side. Isabel is busy fighting with some of the other demon wolves. Tamara has just transcended and taken that desperate position, and we come back to Dante, who has seen all this transpire, who maybe saw it all coming. Deja vu, at the very least.
Oh, he did say you might never, or you might tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. So, gosh. I think with Rasmus coming out of the pause and seeing Tamara transcend and just knowing that there's something special happening here, Dante's going to try and hit Rasmus right now.
Okay.
There's nothing special behind this. Yeah, I'm just gonna flow.
We'll call this risky. It's risky. Tomorrow's the one in the desperate position, but it's just risky for you.
Okay. It's a 2.
2. As you move towards Rasmus, one of the tendrils of the 4 that's holding Tamara up, like, literally comes out and, like, pushes you back, and sort of subtly piercing your abdomen, giving you, like, a level 1 stung condition.
It's level 2. I never fixed my scratch.
Okay. You're pierced, level 2. Okay.
So you have 2 level 1s and 1 level 2 now? Oh no.
Okay. Great.
Oh, wow.
I told you it might not be good.
we're gonna Okay. In my mind, this was like 3 rounds of combat, which I like to do. I try to. How do we wrap it up from here?
Yeah. I have a thing for Isabel, which is that Isabel is sort of like the closest to the well of mana at this point. And so, what is it that we use to collect the mana?
Your artifacts?
Our artifacts. So Isabel is going to attempt to move and just plunge her artifact into the well.
As the seal begins to glow on your artifact, connecting the and tapping the ley node, I think Rasmus sees this happen and will drop Tamara on the ground. I'm half tempted to just give you a level 1 harm from dropping.
I'd like to roll.
Go do a resist for it.
Okay. What would I resist with?
This is violence, son.
Sun. Okay.
She's going to like throw you down.
Okay. 2 ones. Okay, so I'll take 5 stress.
There you go.
But I'm okay with that.
Okay. As she like takes a step back, shakes her head, and escapes into the darkness of the forest. The wolves following behind her.
I assume there's something of like plunging the artifact in, and it starts to glow so brightly in there, within the glade. And I imagine that like the flesh of the demons from Rasmus that Rasmus has summoned, and Rasmus himself starts to like get like peeled away a little bit by the energy coming out. How's Tamara with stress?
Tamara's at 5 stress.
Okay.
And I think that she is helping with dispatching whatever of those wolves are left now that Rasmus has escaped. And I think it's shockingly effortless for her as she flicks her pen and ink sprays out, and as it touches them, they're dissipating, and the mana's coming back to the pen.
Aurora is helping as well, and I think Isabel is just sort of in a bit of shock, like physically injured and kind of like collapsing at the basin, like looking up at this formless demon.
Do you catch yourself before draining the node completely?
It's not my intention to do that, because we had an accord with this creature, but I don't know if there's anything I should do. I don't know if Isabel fully has control over it, but I can spend my special armor to make sure that my relationship with this creature does not get damaged in this way.
Okay.
That we have this moment of seeing each other eye to eye, that I've given up something, I've put myself in, I've left some of my blood here, and that we have awoken a power amongst ourselves, that there's been further growth and further life has come through the transcendence of Tamara. And I just sort of lay there at the feet of this demon, wondering if it's going to decide that I've gone too far and strike me.
It does not. I think, in fact, it's returned to that seated position after making that agreement that you could channel this place. And it hasn't stirred since all of that happened. And as you're channeling, there's like a glow that fills up this space, and as soon as you finish, it comes back down. And although this space is diminished in a way, it is not tapped completely in the way that you've seen previous nodes before. And that's going to bring us to the fallout phase of our mission, as perhaps our knights have gathered themselves, 4 of them here, oddly enough, with Aurora being separate. I'm gonna roll for our fallout and to see how much we recover while devouring blighted hearts. The mission was a tier 2, so I'll roll.
And
Two
our
dice.
blight is tier 2 also.
Yes. Okay. We will clear 6 stress and 2 transcendence with a 4.
Okay.
Okay.
What does our blighted heart devouring look like today?
May I make a suggestion? So an ability that I have that I haven't used yet is called Call Out, which is of boosting my ability to confront bad behavior. So I think instead of taking like a pre-written script from Lord Venken, because he didn't actually give us this mission, I think that Tamara will stand sort of addressing the demon and say, an agent of our kingdom came here and made a very strong attempt to break a promise made by the Ley-Knights. They disrupted the hierarchy. They acted against the wishes of the Kresh and instead to favor their own wishes. And the Ley-Knights had to suffer great harm in order to keep this place from being destroyed. And I think she's saying this with a knowledge or a hope that Rasmus hasn't got too far just yet. And maybe hears her proclaiming this.
As we perform this ritual, the 4 of us standing in that sort of formation that we know is necessary in the lines of mana forming between us, there's almost like a subtle nod from the statue on top of the altar, and the 4 of you in beams of light teleport back to the moon. Because we did a steel power mission, I rolled an extra die for the devouring blighted hearts, and I will roll 1 die less when rolling fallout. So the fallout will be should be slightly diminished. Has the chance to be diminished, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Nope. That was a 6. Okay.
Oh, good.
A friend is taken. No, sorry. Is that correct? A friend is taken by rival hunters.
Is it different in our tier 3? Yeah. Okay.
So we're still in tier 2.
Yeah. Tier 2, right.
A friend is taken, so
Does that mean Rasmus gets back home before we do, and our next mission is probably going to be on the moon or something?
and so one of our friends is kidnapped.
Maybe Rasmus did hear us, but my little stunt didn't quite pan out how I hoped.
Well, my first thought was Anika. But
Are you
also,
kidding? I just got her out.
No. But I'm also like, wait, who's our favorite NPC?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
It would be someone's great grandnephew, who is also like a ex-city archivist, would be relatively well known.
Uh-huh.
Rasmus is also fully aware of how much Eri has been helping y'all.
Eri, no.
I don't like her.
So, yes. We'll have to see how that pans out next time on the finale of Nights by Leylight.
And I'm in Eclipse.
Isabel and Aurora are separated. I feel like we don't really know what Aurora looks like just yet, because we've gotten like glimpses of her like shadowy form, sort of like as a reflection of Isabel. Maybe we can explore that next time.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay. All right, dear viewers. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Let's go around and see where we can follow our cast members and get to know them outside of the moon and the demon-covered earth. Ren, hello. How are you feeling?
Me? Stressed out. But I'm Ren. You can find me at Allegory of Death on Twitter and at MaskRen on TikTok. I'm floating around the TTRPG space in many a production in this month. My NPCs are bothering me.
They were my favorite NPCs.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Jacob, where can we find you? How are you feeling?
How am I? Okay, where you can find me. My name on all platforms is at Water Mosaic, and you can also find me on a channel called Tales Held Dear, which we run as a studio show out of Berlin, and we also have live shows. And by the time you're watching this, there's probably going to be one at the end of June and scheduled for July. So check our social media at Tales Held Dear to find out for a live improv comedy version of like D&D, something like it, and it's great. And how am I feeling? I'm excited. This is this character has been building to this, and life sucks for them right now, and I'm really excited to see where we get in the finale.
And we come to Michelle, the unlikely hero who finally transcended.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Kelly. I am an actor, voice actor, singer, and girl who's found some power, but found that power doesn't always solve all your problems straight away. You can find me on the socials at MichelleCopter, and I usually tweet on whatever it's called these days when I've got an upcoming stream or podcast appearance. So make sure to follow me on there to see where I'm going to pop up next. How am I feeling? Anxious to play the next session. What's going to happen? I'm so excited.
It's gonna be cool. Where due to the series book that we've chosen, where we know our mission next time will be a drive back the Blight, face the Blight where it's strongest on the moon, in the hopes of disrupting its progress and delaying the world's undoing, and then our season will end. It's been how I'm feeling. I almost feel like we could have picked an easier series genre for our first game of Girl by Moonlight, but I'm happy. It's fun. Hi everyone, I have been the director and host for this evening, Crifu Bernal. I'm on all platforms at Crifu Bernal, and yeah, you can see me here at Horde of Tales. This summer there will be more EU happy hours coming, and we haven't had our last season was in the fall. There's just been a lot that's happened in the last few months that has made it not possible to do regular EU happy hours. But I'll be excited to get those back going again, where we try to connect and network with role players, actual players across Europe. And yes, be sure to tune in next Monday for the epic finale of Knights by Leylight. We hope to see you there. Bye.